Hello to all football fans. Today, we're diving into the life of one of the most unique players in football history, Ronaldinho, a Brazilian genius with a constant smile, who had his very own style on the pitch. Two of his signature moves are still unforgettable. One was his no-look pass. He'd look one way and pass the other. And the other was his dazzling dribbling skills that no defender could stop. Now let's watch a short, story-like clip about the life and magic of this football legend.
In the sun-drenched lands of Porto Alegre, Brazil, on the 21st of March, 1980, a boy was born with a smile so wide, it seemed to challenge the world to joy itself. He was christened Ronaldo da Assis Moreira, but the world would come to know him by a single name, as smooth and musical as the way he played, Ronaldinho. He grew up in the humble surroundings of the Vila Nova neighborhood, in a home where joy was often laced with struggle. His father, João, a shipyard worker and part-time footballer, recognized the rhythm in Ronaldinho's steps before he could walk. The streets became his training ground, the ball his companion, and the samba of football echoed through his soul. Ronaldinho lost his father at a tender age. The man who had nurtured his early gifts passed away in a tragic accident. Yet from this loss, something strange and beautiful emerged. Ronaldinho didn't turn bitter. He turned to the ball, caressing it like a brother, dancing with it like a partner. His older brother, Roberto Assis, a professional footballer himself, became both mentor and idol. It was said by the age of 8, Ronaldinho had already begun doing things with a football that made men stop and stare. Coaches whispered of him. Scouts sought him. And Brazil, a country already bursting with stars, began to take notice of this boy whose feat defied logic. At the age of 13, he famously scored 23 goals in a single youth match, a performance that made him a legend before he had even turned pro. He joined Grêmio, a club steeped in history, and quickly rose through their ranks. His flair was unmistakable, dribbles that danced, passes that whispered, and goals that felt like stories. Defenders often looked less like opponents and more like dancers unwilling participants in Ronaldinho's silent choreography. In 1999, still a teenager, he earned his first cap for the Brazilian national team. And in that same year, he dazzled the world in the Copa America, leaving defenders on the floor and fans on their feet. But it was in Paris, under the colors of Paris Saint-Germain, where Europe first fell in love. There were highs and lows, moments of magic and misunderstanding. Yet Ronaldinho's smile never left his face, nor the spark from his game. He played not for points or praise, but for poetry. In 2003, the winds of destiny carried him to FC Barcelona, and there, the boy became myth. Camp Nou became a theater, each match a performance. And Ronaldinho, the maestro, in his debut season, he brought joy back to a wounded giant. With each elastic dribble, no-look pass, and thunderous goal, he reminded the world why they fell in love with the sport in the first place. In 2004 and 2005, he was crowned FIFA World Player of the Year. Not once, but twice. The world stood still when he played. Opponents applauded his genius. Even the fierce crowds of Santiago Bernabéu rose to their feet to applaud his brilliance. A moment so rare, so pure, that it lives forever in football's memory. He led Barcelona to La Liga titles. In 2006, he helped them conquer Europe, lifting the UEFA Champions League trophy with a grin that mirrored a child who had just discovered paradise. But even stars fade, not from the loss of talent, but from the weight of brilliance. His love for the nightlife, his free-spirited ways, began to dim his flame on the field. The pace slowed, the moments of magic became fewer. He moved to AC Milan in 2008. Though not the magician of old, the echoes of his genius still haunted the pitch. He would flash brilliance in moments, remind the world with a single flick or a joyful dribble of who he was. Then came his return to Brazil. Clubs like Flamengo and Atlético Mineiro welcomed him home. With Atlético, he tasted triumph again, winning the Copa Libertadores, South America's greatest prize. It was as if the poetry had returned, matured, mellowed, but no less beautiful. He wandered further, to Mexico with Querétaro, and finally to Fluminense. But by then, his spirit had already given the game all it had. In 2015, the poet hung up his boots, not with a tear, but with a smile. Ronaldinho never chased the game with statistics. He didn't measure his worth in goals or trophies. He measured it in joy, in inspiration, in the countless children who juggled oranges on the streets, dreaming of his moves. He was not just a footballer. He was an artist, a performer, a creator. Where others played, he danced. Where others ran, he glided. He made the impossible look inevitable. To this day, mention his name, and smiles break across faces. His highlights, viewed millions of times, are not just clips. They are songs. His legacy lives not in numbers, but in feeling. And though he has left the field, the spirit of Ronaldinho remains, a timeless reminder that football at its best is not about winning or losing. It's about the joy of playing.